Prepare your work outside. Get everything ready in the field. And then after that, build your house. When it comes to making a decision, whether it is big or small, a lot of times I can freeze. And that leads me to a place in my mind where I feel less than, I feel dumb. But the truth is that it is hard to choose things that could change your life. I don't know if you've ever been in a spot where you've had to choose between two paths. It's the classic fork in the road. For example, you're on a boat. As you're going downstream, it splits. Now, side A, you see it's calm, but it could lead to a waterfall. Or you could choose B, which is very bumpy in front, but if you look past it, it could lead to the smoothest waters you've ever been on. What I run into is the unknown. If I choose this could alter everything. And how do you know for sure that what you should choose is right? What if you were supposed to choose the other choice? And that's where I get all hung up on. And that hang up can actually make me not make a decision. I would rather procrastinate and hold off on it than choosing. I think we all can relate to wearing those shoes of the uncertainty of what could happen if you choose A or B. I'm married to my best friend. She's my anchor. She's beautiful. There's so many stories that I could tell you. We started dating in 2017. It was either 1 or 2 months in, I have it written down in my journal, that I knew she was the one that I wanted to marry. And we both felt the same way. That was January, but in December we got married. Some people thought we were preggers. We were not. We loved each other and both shared the same value and commitment in what marriage is and really the whole design of it. But there was a problem, and I needed a full-time job. And I had one possibly coming, but it got taken away. They removed the position. And being a video person, there's not a whole lot of video jobs out there unless you kind of give up a lot of your creativity. I don't know, maybe I was selfish. I just didn't want to do that. And so that left me not knowing what job I would have. All Meg and I knew is that we wanted to be married. And through a friend of hers, a job did come available. It wasn't the one that I was necessarily wanting, but it provided a way for us to get married. What I've learned from that decision, when you make a commitment and you stick to it and you work really hard, and when you put your trust in someone bigger than yourself, is that everything worked out. I can honestly say I am blown away by how the last 7 years have been. And so in this video, I want to share with you 3 questions that you should ask yourself before you make a decision. And later on, I want to share you some tips and wisdom that I've learned that are really good and help me in my life. All right, think about this. You're born here, you die here. Now shrink that to here. You're born, you die, and here's forever, eternity. There's a little sliver of life that goes by so fast. And so it does matter what you do, how you talk, how you live your life. Now, that sounds like a lot of pressure, but there's a lot of hope in that. And honestly, it should give you a sense of responsibility because you only have one life. So when you're in a situation and you realize, hey, should I do that? If I do that, the consequences will be this, and that cannot be erased. I mean, sure, you can be forgiven and you can be forgiven by the law, but I don't know what you're thinking, but just saying that the decisions that you make, and I hold myself to this, will follow me forever. So what kind of life do I want to live? What will be my legacy? The best way I can relate to this is to look at what I've been through. For example, when I was in high school and I was about to graduate, all I knew was that I wanted to live for the Lord. I'm a believer and follower of Jesus. I wanted to make videos for him and tell stories and use creativity. And I wanted to find a wife who would be my best friend and fall madly in love with her, like the movies, but real, and have kids. And we'd love them and we'd grow a big family and we would make the most of life. I didn't know how to do all that. All I knew is with my one life, this is what I would like if the Lord allows it. That leads me to the question, what is the vision for your life? The book of wisdom says, if you don't have a vision, where there is no vision, the people fail. Could be paraphrasing that. But if you don't have a vision of where you're going, then where you're going. Aunt May in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, at the very end, after everything that happened, Aunt May looks at Peter and goes, Peter, where are you going? Where are you going? And that is the question of my life up to when I met my wife. I don't necessarily worry about that anymore, because once you anchor in yourself to who you are, what you were looking for, the overall legacy I wanted for my life coming out of high school didn't play out exactly the way I thought. Honestly, it turned out better than I could ever imagine. The key focus stayed the same. So when you look at your life, take a step back, think of the bigger picture of your life, realize the consequences of your actions, the weight of a decision, and also use that to fuel you and go, hey, I have one life. So if I do go out and make these bad decisions, I can't just redo that. Now, it's not about being perfect. It's just about trying to do good. So start with your vision and what you want to stay focused on. Okay, the second question you should ask, well, let me tell you this. One of the things that I have lacked in my life is the oomph, the get up and go, or known as like direction, because I'm like a sailboat waiting for the wind to hit and push me, and thinking, oh, if I go this way, then that must be the path that I am destined to be on. The truth is that waiting for the wind to push you in right or left, waiting for life scenarios to happen, could end up leading you down a bad path. So what I've learned is it's okay to take control of your life. I'm not just gonna sit around and wait for the world to tell me what to do. I actually heard a great quote. If you don't have a habit of doing something or a pattern, then the world will give you one. Totally could be butchering that, but basically, if you don't figure out who you are and what you want to do, the world will tell you. Like I said, my wife and I have 2 kids, and they are truly innocent. And I say that because at this age, which is why we have to be so protective of our children, because there's some evil people out there, is that people can make kids believe whatever they want. It's the same for adults. If you hear it all the time, or if someone's telling you this is who you are and what you should do, then yeah, at some point you're probably just gonna be like, you're right. But the freedom is when you let go of what the world tells you and you start thinking for yourself and go, hey, why do I think this? What is the right way? Could this even be the wrong way of doing something? What I'm getting at, have you done your research on whatever you're trying to decide? I love spontaneous moments. That's a lot of fun. In a creative sense, it could lead to some really cool projects. But when you're trying to make a decision that could change your life forever, you want to take the time to get everything ready and then build your house. What I love to do, if I don't know how to do something or I'm curious about something, for example, I've had to make a big decision in my life, and I spent months and months and months trying to study, research, and pray, and talk with my wife. After doing all that research, it does bring a peace, because knowledge and understanding is a powerful tool. When you take the time to think for yourself, get rid of everyone else's thoughts except for the people that are the very closest to you, that truly are there to help you and make the best decision, then you can take what you've learned, what you know, what you think about your future, and you make a decision. I'm at a place now in my life where once you do all your research and you're forming it with your values in mind, you either have 2 decisions. You either don't make it and you stay where you are, or you do make it and you see what happens. Don't let other people live through you. Don't let other people make the decision for you. You can listen to other people and be grateful for their advice, and sometimes you'll get some unneeded or unasked for advice, but you still respect that, and you take it all back and you lay it out and you think about it really hard, and out of your best judgment, you make a decision off of that. Now, the third question brings me so much peace. The pressure I felt of making decisions, it took it away. There was one point where I reached out to a good friend of mine, and I was basically asking him, how do you know that the decision you make is in God's will? Like, how do I know for sure that He wants me to do this, or that if I do this decision, it's the right one, or am I gonna mess it up? And he shared with me a speech that I'll drop in the link below. Basically, if you are doing good in the eyes of the Lord, because of that, you will have His values in mind, knowing, hey, this is good and this is bad, then I can do whatever I want and be at peace. There's a freedom that not all the weight is on your shoulders, because, hey, look, let's say I quit videos altogether. Let's say I stuck with it and never quit. Which one's the right one? With the knowledge and understanding that I've learned from His scriptures and from wisdom from others, and go, this is a good path. And whether or not I want to stay on this path, my identity isn't within that job. My identity lies with Him and who I am and who I know I am through Him. the principle within what I shared, that what I've learned still applies, because your identity is not wrapped up in a job or a skill set. I heard a YouTube short, I was listening to a YouTube short, and a lady was being interviewed about making decisions. And she said, a lot of people don't want to have regret. Like, what if years later I should have taken that job and maybe my life would have been so much better? And she says, you don't know that. It's not real. All you know is the decision that you make and the life that you build off of that. Because what would have happened if you did take that job and it turned out completely worse? And then you're wondering, well, what would happen if I didn't have taken it? And so really the third question is, if you're keeping good values in mind, want the good for yourself and for others, and you let go of the fact that whatever you do choose isn't your identity, what do you want to do? What do you want to spend your time on? But really though, like, I understand like the realistic parts of it, but when you go, I want to take a different job. Okay, cool. Hey, I want to move here because it'll be really cool. And I think it'd be a great place to raise a family. Cool. You just do it, and you make the most of it. All right. So those are the questions that I believe that can help you when it comes to make a decision. But also, let me give you some tips and wisdom that I've learned that truly helped me to this very day. Diligent plans lead to abundance. If we plan our lives and throw everything up in the wind, like how I used to live my life and just hope that the wind pushed me in a certain direction, it's kind of uncertain of whether or not good or bad can come from that. But if I have a vision, I've done my research, and I know that the value of what I want to do is good and not my identity, but something, that I'm interested in, then that's more likely to succeed. If you put in the hard work first, it gets easier. A good name and favor is better than great riches, silver, and gold. I think we all know that there are a lot of people who just want to make a name for themselves, get rich quick, do things that could earn them money or get them status, but it tears down others. What is really cool is that when you choose to live a good life and treat others with love and kindness and keep your word, how much more that lasts than $1. Money comes and goes, but people will go, hey, I remember that person. I knew I could rely on them and trust them. And so, hey, here's an opportunity. You never know. A man skillful in his work will stand before kings, not obscure men. Oh, I like that one. It assures me that it's like, if I put in the hard work and try to get better at my craft, that I will stand out. I won't just be a peon. Not that your identity lies within your skill, but you are valued because you're a hard worker and you're trying your best to learn what you know and want to do good at, so that you can help others and provide for yourself and your family, become really good at what you're doing. So yeah, that's cool. If I do a really good job and get really good at what I do, I will be seen by more than just the average Joe. Sorry, Joe. By wisdom, a house is built. By understanding, it's established. By knowledge, the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Both of my great grandfathers were entrepreneurs. One of them ran a hotel, owned a little store in the town square area, and sold cars, several other things probably. My other great grandfather ran a gas station / grocery store, and they took care of their families. And what I love about entrepreneurship is you are having to think about every decision. I know that sounds like a lot of pressure. It's kind of good in a way because you are being present and aware of what's going on. Instead of just letting the world take you, you're thinking through it all, and you can build a plan, a blueprint that could take you very far. All right, and for this last one, we're going small. I want you to think like an ant. When you look at the ant, it has no chief, no officer, no ruler, and yet it knows how to provide, take care of itself and others. It knows direction. It knows justice, knows what to do, what not to do. It knows how to live. It knows how to make decisions on its own. It's so cool that such a tiny little ant, a little tiny ant knows what to do, and it doesn't have to wait to be told. Like I said, I've been a boat. Sometimes I'm like a sailboat waiting for the wind, but it's like, no, think, have a vision, think it through, get research, and then do it if it is good. So I need to grab the steering wheel and set my sails to where I think is a good investment, a good choice for the long run. I really was like a boat with a sail waiting in the ocean, not knowing which way to go. But when I was 15, in a way, asked myself these 3 questions without realizing it, because I had a decision to make. And so if you want to know more about that story, check out this video.